topic we will be discussing is the Power Hour, the podcast with Mina Kimes, and her guest is one Nick Wright, who has never been the kindest analyst to the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. But listen, Bobby, somehow, some way, in what they were supposed to be doing, which was ranking rosters, okay, power rankings for rosters, she said, well, Nick, you're turning this into a debate show. That's not what this was supposed to be. But he is for sure disrespectful to the Ravens, okay? And Mina Kimes called him out on it. And she did it in a very Mina Kimes way. She didn't match Nick Wright by yelling or anything like that. Didn't go to that level. All she did was bring facts to the conversation, and all she did was call out Nick Wright for his bias. Those are the two things you're about to see in two different clips here, okay? So the way she did this to come up with their roster power rankings is she kept giving him two people to choose from as they went down this list. So they start at number one. It's like Eagles, Kansas City. He chooses Eagles. Okay, he's a known Kansas City fan, so he had to tip the cap. The Eagles just beat his team in the Super Bowl. Okay, then she puts up Kansas City versus the Ravens. And that is where the disrespect begins. And he begs her to answer a question that he wants to know why he should have any sort of hope or, give any sort of love to the Ravens in the postseason. And she gave a calm, cool, fact-based answer, which was absolutely phenomenal. Here we go.
So on the board, we're going to go Chiefs-Ravens here.
Chiefs. I know that the modern sports media is in a post-results era where, wins and success and actually accomplishing things is so passé and overrated. And have you seen the Week 12 Ravens DVOA the last couple of years? Hang the banner. But at some point, the Baltimore Ravens have to accomplish something. And at some point, someone's got to explain to me why I am supposed to think of the Ravens as a great team. Tell me, because they have a great running back and they have an amazing quarterback up until the games matter. The number 31 pass defense, the 25th best receiving core in football, a rookie kicker. Every year I'm beat over the head with this Ravens propaganda. And then there's a brief moment when they fall on their face in the playoffs when everyone afterwards, we're not going to make that mistake again. And then 2 months later, it's I think they're going to do it this year. Why? Just somebody tell me why.
The defense, I believe, is better than the Chiefs' defense. And
they were 31 against the pass last year.
In the second half of the season, after they changed up the safety pairing, they were first in EPA per play, first in success rate, first in points per game.
He's sipping on wine.
The crazy stat, by the way, which I think, to your point, Aaron Schatz mentioned this. We talked about the AFC East. So you mentioned DVOA. The two best 5-year runs in the history of the metric by teams without a Super Bowl appearance, the Baltimore Ravens the last 5 years and the Buffalo Bills the last 5 years. These two teams have the incredible misfortune of playing in the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid era. But isn't that amazing?
You're right. Her demeanor never changes the entire time, which makes her so freaking talented at what she does. Why is he so condescending?
He is so condescending. That is definitely it. He opens it up when she's just giving him two teams. And it's one day the media is going to actually care about results. And then she gives results. You want to know why she still has the Ravens ranked high? You want to know why? Because she doesn't put moments over a body of work. And he's like, tell me why, as she it just seems like she's cringing, but with a smile on her face. And she's like, oh, I'll tell you why, because the Ravens, along with the Bills, have the two best 5-year runs, not a 1-year run, not a 6-game run, not a 2-year run, a 5-year run for a team without a Super Bowl. So why have hope? because of that. Because of that. And in the next segment, because there have been so many quarterbacks and so many teams that had knocked on the doors for years and eventually broke through. So why have hope that they'll eventually break through? Because other teams have, and they're on the best 5-year run in terms of DVOA. It's the 2020 to 2024 Baltimore Ravens and the same time span the Buffalo Bills. She's saying, you know, they're knocking up against each other and also the Kansas City Chiefs. But eventually, they're going to break through. That's why, Nick. That's why, without returning the condescension, without returning the snark, any of that, she lays it out perfectly in 30 seconds or less.
Well, he completely overlooks the in-season transformation where they literally night and day for a defense, and Mina was quick to correct him on that. Yes, it was the dead last ranked passing defense through, you know, call it 10 or 11 weeks. But what were they metrics wise, statistically speaking, eye test, you name it, the rest of the way? Elite of elite. And so you just completely overlook that. And then where I think the condescending part came in was you have an amazing quarterback, ... until it matters. Look, that seems like he's got some Mahomes syndrome there, because obviously all these quarterbacks are all chasing Patrick and the Chiefs and the dynasty and what they've done year in and year out with different personnel, high-flying offenses, high-flying defenses, and then vice versa, and you name it. They've been able to win in a variety of different ways. But that demeans what Lamar has accomplished and has on his resume, both with hardware and signature wins. He's still waiting for the signature win in the month of January, but the guy wins over 70% of games in which he starts under center in Baltimore. So I thought that was the condescending part of it. And then where he just was wrong was the pass defense. He was so focused on, and granted, hey, it was bad and it needed to be talked about. There was a 10-game sample size that you can point to under Zach Orr last year, prior to Marcus Williams being benched, Eddie Jackson being cut, and Kyle Hamilton being moved back to where he's best. Well, actually, where he's best is, and Ardarius obviously becoming his running mate. I think we all agree that Kyle's at his best wherever they need him to be. And you know, he was hilarious during his press conference, by the way, saying, "Oh, you're not going to like this answer, but wherever they want me, I'm willing to do, even if it's line up as a 3-tech. Probably wouldn't be good, but I can line up as a 3-tech, which cracked me up. But yeah, it just kind of comes across and who knows what he's like off camera. He's probably a decent guy. I think we both think that Acho is, and he can come across as negative Nancy from time to time online, or maybe even condescending. But my goodness, is his delivery condescending as Nick's.
Well, so they moved on. So that whole segment was supposed to be about the Chiefs because he chose the Chiefs over the Ravens. Then the way the format was, whoever he chose, they were going to talk about that roster. So she kind of moves it along and is like, okay, let's go next. And she presents Bills and Ravens. He tries to diss the Ravens again. She's like, just wait. We'll talk about the Ravens when we get there. And then she presents the Ravens versus Detroit. And that's where they really get into this. But every single point along the way, she starts noticing a trend and calls him out as a Ravens hater. Here we go.
Bills. Who is the better team?
The Bills.
The Bills. Ooh, I don't know. This anti-Ravens stance that you're
taking. It's not anti-Ravens.
Here,
it's pro-history.
Ravens Lions for the 4th overall spot.
So I wouldn't have either one of these teams 4th, but I will. So because of that, I will go Ravens. But can we talk now about the Ravens for a minute?
Yeah, and how you're apparently a Ravens hater, which I didn't know.
I don't know. I've just been the only person.
There it was. She must not have been paying attention. She's like, oh, apparently you're a Ravens hater, and which I didn't know. And I'm like, oh, Ravens fans knew. Ravens fans knew because every chance he gets, look, it's fine, Bobby, if you want to rank the Ravens number 4. I thought ESPN, when they did their rankings, maybe put the Ravens a little too high. I feel like they should have been number 2, maybe 3, you could argue. I think the Eagles are number 1. So like, fine. If you have legitimate reasons that you want to put Ravens number 4, put them Ravens number 4. But every chance he got, he gave a jab. And that's why Mina finally called him out and said, oh, apparently you're a Ravens hater, which I didn't know. Oh yeah, we all knew.
right about in the last couple of years. If that makes me a hater, then I guess it makes me a hater. It's so crazy how that ends up happening. Like the pessimist who ends up pessimism was correct is a hater, or were they just accurate? So this was Lamar almost won another MVP last year, and part of it was, and it might have been deserving. He could have won it, certainly.
I voted for him.
Weird first team all weird. It's weird they split first team all pro and MVP, but whatever. How can you say for a guy who you thought was the league's most valuable player that was a good game by him? I don't understand it.
First of all, it's the league's most valuable player is a regular season award. So
no, but I'm saying you hold him to a high standard. I'm saying it's not like the standard is this guy's. He has not
been his best self in the playoffs, no doubt. I don't think Josh Allen played markedly better, frankly, in the game. In the postseason this year. I think there's some nuance with one of those turnovers, but we don't have to litigate the entire thing. I feel like we have enough of a body of work with Lamar Jackson at this point that I feel comfortable saying he is the second best quarterback or the third best quarterback in football. And with him and Josh Allen, I think you can kind of go back and forth and it's very close to me. But to say that just because, he played a bad half of football, you have to discount the body of work is just, I think generally I feel like we overweight. I know you're saying like postseason success matters when we talk about accomplishments and accolades, but when we're doing what we're doing here, which is who's the best team, who are the best players, I feel like you have to put it in context. How are you turning my power ranking show into a debate show, by the way? You're unbelievably powerful because I watched enough football over the course of my life to think how a player plays in the postseason is not predictive of the rest of his career. I think the better way to look at it, because I've just seen players who have been bad in the postseason who then went on improbable runs or were amazing. So I just think if I'm thinking about who this team is in 2025, and I think they have a stacked offense and a stacked defense, who the quarterback is, the fact that he has had a couple of bad postseason performances does not give me pause. That's all.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. What sticks out to you, Bobby? That was your first time watching, yes?
Well, he was agitated there early on, and then he had not a whole lot to say there at the end. I just think she's just so remarkably composed, and I think formulates her thoughts in such a. I mean, she was just so composed, so clear, so concise, so fair. She's also got a way of getting under his skin a little bit there. You saw at the beginning of the clip, but I don't know. I liked a number of probably my favorite there was one half of football is not indicative of attaching a label that Lamar has had. Yeah, a full body of work, but also the label that's followed him from a national level for years as being, a choke artist in the postseason.
Yeah. And Mina's going to go where the data takes her, right? She's deep into the data. And she's just like, I've watched enough football to know that bad half is less than his body of work. And so she's like, this isn't a debate show. Like, this isn't what we're doing. Like, she also felt like he was taking it like, she's like, we were just doing power rankings of the season. And like, somehow you've taken it into like, is Lamar Jackson, a great quarterback or whatever, And so, but I also noticed, Bobby, that when he talked about people voting for him to be MVP and then others giving him all pro and not MVP, she, with a little bit of pride, it seemed like to me, was like, I voted for him for MVP. I want to make this very clear that I was on the right side here and I voted for him for MVP. And so I feel like, as somebody said in the chat that I missed earlier, she cooked him with kindness. And you want to know what would really boil Nick Wright's blood? What about a former wide receiver that played with Patrick Mahomes, who Nick Wright loves? What if a former receiver was asked to compare quarterbacks, lots of different quarterbacks, to Patrick Mahomes, and he keeps taking Mahomes until a certain quarterback in Baltimore was put up next to him? What about Tyreek Hill, who won a Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes? He was on with, I'll get the name in just a minute of the person and the show he was talking to on the streets. But here is Tyreek Hill.
2 quarterbacks. You pick one, and then we keep going until you replace them.
Okay.
Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts.
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert.
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels.
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Oh!
Lamar Jackson.
Okay, I like it. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady.
Bobby. I don't know if Nick Wright would like that too much. Tyreek Hill currently with the Miami Dolphins on the shot clock. I don't know if is it a podcast? It's a shot clock show.
Looks like a
Lamar
TikTok
Jackson or
account.
Patrick Mahomes, and he takes Lamar Jackson. Look at his face as he's trying to make the decision.
Agony.
It's complete agony.
Agony.
And here's
But-
the thing. I know where you're going, but obviously Mahomes has the rings. So
Well, no, I wasn't going that way.
Oh, you weren't going to go that way. Okay, well, let me just finish this thought.
Yeah.
For sure, over the last 2 years, Lamar Jackson has outplayed Patrick Mahomes. But in the biggest moments, Patrick Mahomes plays his best, and so he's got all those rings. But I think if you're looking at it statistically over the last 2 years, Lamar does have the leg up.
Just where I was going was it's representative of what
Yeah.
the player community has ranked Lamar, says about Lamar. He's revered, feared, respected, all that. So, as we've learned.